Hey, cuz, you like our show?
Absolutely.
You know the best way to support this show?
I think I do, but I need you to tell me again.
Well, just in case you don't know, you can go to campfirepod.com/merch. That's campfyrepod.com/merch. And you can pick up a shirt and help support the show.
I think I'm going to do that. I do
You
do
sound
that.
so excited. I believe you're going to do it.
Stop. Let's move on.
Yeah,
Go
let's get the show
show.
started.
Hi, I'm Lourdes.
And I'm Eric, but you can call me Tello. This show is a family-oriented show, but it's oriented from the adult perspective. We talk about adult situations, and very often we use adult language. So if there's any kids in the room, kick their asses out. They don't belong here right now. Unless they want to learn something about life.
Right, this may not be suitable for children. And I'd like to add, I don't want to make anybody mad, and I love my family and friends.
I do too. Oh, cuz, what do we have on the agenda for today? What are we talking about? We got a bunch of stuff, right?
We got so much BS, it's ridiculous.
I believe that. And this is, what, episode 46?
46, we're 4 away from 50.
I know, we have no plans for 50. What are we going to do?
We never really have plans for anything, so I'm sure we'll just figure it out.
Well, lucky for us, even though it's only 4 episodes away, it'll probably take us about 3 months to get there.
I can't help that we're just super busy people now that this show's taken off.
Show's taking off and taking us with it. No. No, just, I'm getting super busy with my day job, and you are a mother of 17 kids and 4 husbands. So your time is tied up, and probably what's going to happen is I'm going to start fading out from this show for a little bit. And hopefully you'll be picking up the slack, but probably we'll be having some inconsistent scheduling. I'm thinking maybe releasing a show every other... What?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a little inconsistency.
Oh, that's like the biggest rule in podcasting. Be consistent with your release schedule. Hey, is this a coffee drinking show or like a podcast talking show? Come on. Are we talk hosts? What do you call us, talk hosts?
I don't know what I called us last time. It was confusing though.
You were talking about, you meant to say talk show host, but you said talk hosts.
Yeah.
Which reminded me of tacos.
That's why it's hard for me to hold a conversation with people.
Or is it because you just stop in the middle of a sentence and then turn your head away?
Actually, I stop in the middle of a sentence and I start thinking of something else. Or as they're talking to me and I'm listening, I'm like, you should really stop talking to me right now.
I was going to say that's probably because you have a lot on your mind and you just, your thoughts are all over the place. But the way you just described it, I think you're just rude.
No, I don't know if we talked about this, and I'm kind of getting off our little agenda. Imagine that. But I think a couple of episodes ago, I mentioned that we had this class thing at work, a little speech, listening with empathy. So I've kind of read a little bit more into that since that class. And listening with empathy is like you have to completely not judge this person. You have to like start at ground zero with what they're telling you. And if you truly can't give them your time, then you basically say, look, I'm really got a lot going on and I can't listen to you right now.
I agree.
So I thought about that. Yeah, it's like, it makes perfect sense because I have that problem where people start talking to me and I start their words that they give me, I start triggering things in my mind. And usually it's like, you need help.
It's usually something like...
family, you are wrong all the time.
Well, that was way loud. That was like way louder than I expected it to be.
Even if it's not family, but yeah, along those lines. And they're like, you can't think that stuff.
You say stuff like,
She pees coffee.
That's
Yeah,
real
'cause I don't
empathetic
even-
listening. No, I'm sorry. I'm just playing around. Go ahead.
Anyway, you can't truly listen to someone, and the best gift.
You mean like how I barely heard that story because I was looking for the sound drops to play?
Exactly. Yeah. Or even when I ask you, when you're telling me something and I'm like, wait, can you repeat that? That's actually, I'm doing you
A favor?
not
Don't
favor,
turn this
but
around.
justice in listening, because I'm letting you know now you have my undivided attention.
Thanks. So is that why
Not
we
just
sometimes do the
you.
podcast 2 in a row? Because the first time you weren't listening?
Mm-hmm.
Cousin, are you there? Or are you still drinking your
I'm-
coffee?
Mm-hmm. No. I can't drink it when it gets cold. I
I
did
have
the
this crazy idea. What if you drank your coffee before we started recording?
that means you'd have to call and wake me up earlier.
I tried. But
You messaged me.
yeah.
I didn't even hear that. I think my notifications are like turned down. But
Turned
yeah,
down for
so
what?
if you isn't that the song?
Yes, that's a song, and it's an old cliche joke I shouldn't be doing. I'm better than that. I think I'm funnier than that.
Turned down for what? Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm glad you're a good listener.
Oh no. I'm terrible at it. I find myself sometimes like in meetings and stuff like that when I really should be paying attention. I'll start to drift off a little bit, and then they'll ask me a question, and then I just like, I have to scramble for the answer and just pick up on the little pieces that I did here, and then try to formulate something that might make sense. Somebody was talking directly to me, not in a meeting, the other day, and straight up told me that they had just they were watching something, and my next question was, "Oh, have you ever seen this?" And it was the thing that they had just told me that they were watching.
Oh my gosh.
It was just a
That's
misunderstanding.
not good.
No, it's not. But I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well,
Listening
you
with
need to
empathy.
listen with yeah, there's a book. I don't remember who the author
I'm not gonna
is,
read the
but there's
book.
lots of things.
I'm not going to
You
read the
should.
book. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to
It
read
might
the
be
book.
helpful.
It probably
It
would
might be helpful.
It probably would be, but I'm not a big reader. If you're a big reader, hey man, more power to you. I encourage that. I wish I was a reader. But I don't when I have free time, I don't think about picking up a book anymore because I have the internet. And there's so many distractions on the internet. The only time in my life that I was a big reader was back in 2009. I was living in Kansas at the time. I had moved into a new apartment and I had 0 roommates and I couldn't afford cable. And while I had the internet, I didn't have my Apple TV yet. Streaming to TV wasn't as big as it is now. It was available, but it wasn't as
You read a
ubiquitous as it
book.
is now. Yeah, so I started reading and I read like
What book was
Quite a-
that?
You're saying it like it was one book. I read a few books. I read a book. I read a couple of books on Martin Scorsese. I read a book on Steven Spielberg. I read a book by a comedian named Artie Lang. It was a really
Yeah.
good, sad book. It was some memoirs. It was mostly nonfiction stuff that I was reading. But yeah, I was reading quite a bit. I can't think of any more. Some film related stuff because I'm a film lover.
I read all the 50 Shades.
That's awesome. Look, I could sit here and make fun of that. I've never read the books. I've never seen the movies. They were hugely popular. But if it encouraged you to read, wait, did you read or listen to audiobooks?
No, I read.
Okay,
and
good.
Like,
So that's like-
the
Go ahead.
yeah, this taking out the actual detailed sex parts of it.
Did you go buy rope from Home Depot? Were you one of those moms?
No. But I did buy Luis a couple of ties. No, I'm joking.
Oh my goodness.
Zip ties. No, I'm joking.
Cuz, what are you admitting to?
No, I did not. But the storyline itself, I guess, and I just could not put the book down. It was like a love story, obviously, because it had me hooked. And I'm like, how can someone do it so many times? Penocha?
Cochina.
It was,
Why is it so loud?
I don't know. I refuse to watch the movies because that ruins, I think, the books. And it's been years since I read it. So, but I was so desperate to read all of them. I remember downloading one of the ebook for one of them because I couldn't wait to go to the store and buy it on Isabel's like iCloud or something. And she was
on
like,
your daughter's, what was it, the Amazon Kindle?
I think so. Yeah. And I purchased it through that. And I was like, you can never read this book.
And what do you think she did?
I don't think she read it. I really don't believe she did.
Oh my goodness. Because you're so naive. Come on.
I know she didn't read it.
Let me ask you something.
When here recently, they bought the book and they started reading it. The actual book.
Well, she has to keep the subterfuge going. She's like, of course I never read it, but I have to finish the story now that I know what's going on.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you were saying like when my mom what?
When you were younger and your dear mother would, when she was through cleaning her antlers and polishing her hooves and picking off the ticks because she was a deer, your dear mother. And she would tell you not to do something. Did you not do that something that she told you not to do, or did you do that something that she told you not to do?
I'm honestly thinking I think I listened to, she told me not to do this. I didn't do it.
You were such a nerd. I thought you were a cool kid.
I know. No, well, I had a little bit more freedom, so I really didn't have to do
I say that like I broke so many rules as a kid. I was such a stupid good kid.
You weren't stupid.
No, I followed like almost all the rules.
I did too, but my rules were a little more, relaxed. Like, don't drink, don't have sex. Or
I followed that. I didn't.
If you're gonna do one, don't do the other. No, I'm joking.
I tried to break that rule.
That was never a rule.
I tried to break the rule about not having sex, but society just made me follow the rule because nobody wanted to do it with me. No, I remember.
Go ahead.
Are we either going to talk at the same time or neither one of us is going to talk? What was your story? Go ahead, cuz.
I was just going to say, I remember when my mom would have something to do maybe for the day or that weekend, or we would go out. We had friends that would rent hotel rooms. Not often, but they would have parties. So they'd rent 2 rooms, and I think I went to 1, maybe 2. And I remember always hearing my mom say, you better not drink, you better not be doing this, you better not be doing that. So it seemed like when we weren't,
you better not cry.
I'm
you better not pout. Yeah.
And so I don't remember doing those. I remember specifically not doing those things, not because it's because I remember oh, she's not around here, so I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm saying?
But if she was around, you would have done it?
If I was at home, then possibly.
I kind of understand that. When I would go out with my friends, when I would go out in general, back when I used to go out, if I was with my group of friends who, like you said, I felt comfortable around, I had no problem getting just drunk or just blitzed, and they would kind of have to babysit me. Then I'd call them the next morning to apologize because they had to babysit me essentially. But if I was with people who I didn't know that well or wasn't too comfortable around, I definitely did not do that, just because I didn't know not that they were going to do anything to me, but I didn't trust them enough to keep me out of trouble or from, bringing trouble on myself. So I just had to stay sober and have a terrible time that night.
That makes sense. I
Yeah,
mean, if
but I
you're
was gonna
not
say-
around people you trust.
Oh yeah, exactly. And not that I didn't trust them. It's just that I didn't know them that well, or we were friends, but
Right.
not deep friends yet.
Yeah, they may have just left you like passed out in the car or something.
Yeah,
or
we were like friends from work, but that doesn't
without
mean anything
benefits.
yet. Well, obviously, I told you, couldn't break that rule no matter how hard I tried.
Oh gosh.
Did you ever
Horrible.
like take your mom's car without her permission? Like sneak it out of the driveway at night?
No.
I did that a couple times.
I didn't have to. Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you like
And
roll it to the end?
Yeah, I rolled it out of our remember our old driveway?
Yeah.
You had two entrances. You had from the front, and then it would go all the way through and exit out the back. Well, a couple times I wanted to go visit my friends late at night, and my mom didn't want me walking down the street. They lived literally 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
So I would steal the car, quote unquote, and drive 2 blocks down the street because my mom didn't want me walking in our neighborhood late at night because she was afraid something would happen to me. And I wanted to go hang out with my friends, so I pushed the car out the driveway, and by then I was about halfway to my friend's house. I could have just pushed the car all the way over, but just so she wouldn't hear the car start because the driveway was right next to her bedroom window.
I know. So I was like, how did she not hear that?
Well, I pushed the car out of the driveway and I started it on the street and then drove a block and a half down to my friend's house and hung out with them till late at night or early in the morning. And then I'd drive back and push it back in the driveway because I used to be really strong in my youth. I don't know if I could still pull that off today.
I consider myself strong too back in my youth, and now I have no strength in my arms. Like, it's bad.
I never had upper body strength. It's always been embarrassing to, especially as a man, because you expect men to be like, physically strong and like
Yeah.
big broad shoulders and a barrel chest and just ripping stuff
have
apart.
Big, broad shoulders. I really do.
Well,
It's
probably because you're a big broad. I kid. I just shut up.
when you said that your mom was afraid to let you out or walk the streets, that something might happen to you when, in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I just said that. I remember it.
Yeah. Okay, good.
It's like 2 seconds ago.
Well, those words created some type of trigger in my head because I was listening with empathy.
You've been triggered. Go ahead.
And I remember like walking late at night with a group of friends from like from one side of the neighborhood, crossing like a main street to the other to get, to get to the other side. Like chickens. But it was late at night. Like, when I say late, I'm talking like probably after 11. And then in the daytime, I remember us riding bicycles and walking. And now I think back and I'm like, I never thought that I'm going to just give the hood a name, the avenues were a safe area. But I guess like I had no concept or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
I never
think
thought of
it's
it
part
as
of the
being
thing-
dangerous.
Yeah, well, I mean, also
Naive?
when you're a kid, yeah, totally naive. But when you're a kid, you think you're invincible. You think nothing bad is ever going to happen to me, and you think that way until something bad happens to you or somebody you know.
But I didn't ever even think bad. Like, the bad never even came to my mind. Like, nothing's going to happen to us. It was just like, we're free. We're just going to go ride our bike. We're going to go walk over here. We're going to go do this.
I don't know if you heard me, but I said that's because when you're a kid, you think nothing bad is going to happen to you. You don't realize how the world, like, as smart as you think you are and as much as you think you know, you don't realize how the world works. And until you get older and you hear things about what's happening and you find out, hey, look, there's really things going on in this neighborhood that aren't so great. I mean,
we're girls. It was a
But
group of
even-
girls that were
even
walking
still,
down the
though,
street.
in your youth, you with your own eyes, you witnessed violence happen in front of you. Did that not change the way you thought about where we grew up?
Not, I guess it didn't it didn't become real until I got older, because even younger, yes, there was violence, but it was just like, you
'Cause
know,
maybe you were
it was
just a
the
dumb
people,
kid.
bad people. I think I was. Like,
I'm just kidding.
I no, for real. I was
No,
like
I
a
think
badass.
naive is a good description of it.
Yeah, it's just weird because I'm like, oh my gosh, I would never, ever let my kids walk down the street.
Well, because we used to play outside till it got dark.
I know. And we, as adults, Luis and I don't even sit outside in the front as adults to just, you know, relax and have a beer. We have to go to the back because we're afraid somebody might come up and.
That's kind of sad.
I mean, we do it anyway, but
No,
we're armed.
It is.
I'm joking.
Nah, no. I mean, even if you were, still, you don't want to have to. You shouldn't have to worry about performing an act of violence just to enjoy your yard.
Yeah, that's why we in the back. Speaking of house and enjoyment,
Yes.
we
Oh.
are about 90% through with the bathroom.
Can you take a poop in it yet?
It can be used to take a poop in it.
Have you taken a poop in it yet?
No, because there's not a door on it. It's missing
So
a
it
door.
might as well be 0% done.
No, my mother-in-law uses that.
Your poor mother-in-law. Why do you abuse her so much?
It's closer to the room that she stays in. Like, she doesn't have to walk as far. So she's
does
been
this
with
mean-
the...
Does this mean there's not going to be any more Pia Put sightings or like all these little strangelings walking behind you?
There possibly could still be that today. It's still kind of early.
Is it possible to have a mother-in-law sighting today?
No, she would not come in here, but I can take the laptop.
No,
and even
don't.
though I won't have audio, y'all can see.
No. I don't want to see your mother-in-law taking a poop in a bathroom with no door. That's disgusting.
Obviously, I would not do that to her.
Just send me some pictures. I kid.
Yeah. So, just real quick, I know we got to move on.
Yeah, why do we even set up like what we're going to talk about if we're just going to go way off the rails?
I have
Well,
no
speaking
idea.
of your mother-in-law is with you. She's visiting for an extended amount of time. Please tell me you've got some funny mother-in-law stories.
It's just, you know, things that I think it's funny. People may not have that same perception or understanding.
By the way, just for the audience listening at home, Lourdes hates her mother-in-law.
No, I don't. I really don't.
She
So-
is borderline abusive to her.
No, but this was it. This actually kind of got under my skin. So I'm cooking dinner night before last, and I like to take whether it's baby back ribs or a big slab of pork ribs, and I cut them, and then
Barbecue
I get
sauce.
this. No, I get this big butcher knife, and I cut them in half or fourths so that they're like little small chicharron type.
Short ribs.
Very short. And so I'm in the kitchen and I'm like, you know, cooking, and I cut them. I get the big chopping board and the big butcher knife, and I'm like, kabam. And it sounds like, you know, I'm hammering away, or, I mean, it's loud because I have to break these bones. And I start to hear in the living room her make this sound like, like every single time I hear this sound from her. It's almost like she's kind of cursing, but I'm not going to make those false accusations because I can't be 100% sure. But the timing and the sound, I mean, I was just like, what does she think I'm doing in here? Because she's hard of hearing. So I'm chopping away, and it's really loud. So I keep hearing her. And so I walk over so that I can see her, and she sees me, and she starts making the sound like, like she was about to do it again. But when she saw me, she turned it into a.
So she did a literal song and dance number.
Basically. And I'm like,
because she was making fun of you chopping, and then she got caught red-handed, and so she had to do.
And she looks at me, she kind of gets funny face, and I'm like, I'm cutting up meat. And she's like, oh, okay. I honestly think she thought that I was like slamming the cabinets or the drawers or something, and that it was making her upset.
Which, by the way, drives me crazy.
Slamming things? Or chopping?
Yeah, if I can hear...
Chopping ribs?
No, the chopping probably would have drove me crazy too, but I would just be like, well, you got to do it. But slamming doors, slamming cabinets, if I can hear it in the other room, you're closing it too hard. Why do you have to slam it?
That's what she says.
Shut up. Just take an extra second or two, close it gently. Your cabinets will last longer. Your doors will appreciate it, and so will the other people in the house.
Well, when you're mad, and
when you're mad, that's different. But you should be able to control yourself a little bit better than that. I mean, you're not a kid.
Let me tell you.
Damn it, cuz.
I've gotten so mad. Like, I'll grab my bedroom door with both hands, and I'm like, bam! So it can slam really loud when I get really upset.
Oh my, cuz. What is wrong with you?
And then I stomp my foot, and I wait to see if anybody's going to come in here to check on me.
Are you serious? Because you're a child. You shouldn't act that way. You're a grown woman.
I could, just like that day when I was chopping those ribs, I can slam and bang anything I want in my house.
By the way, what the part of the story you left out is that when you approached your mother-in-law, you still had the big giant butcher's knife in your hand.
I did.
Oh,
I did.
I was joking. No wonder she was like, she didn't want to get stabbed.
She's like, oh shit. She's gonna, because I wanted to show her who was boss.
That you were the power, that you were the dominant. Yeah.
I was like, I'm cutting the meat.
Why did your poor mother-in-law come visit you when you abuse her so much?
I don't know. I don't abuse her.
She's such a lovely lady. La
she
señora.
Is. Yeah.
You're so mean.
No, like before we got on the podcast, I went to turn the air up because it felt a little cold. And I could hear her I could hear her talking. And it was like she was having a conversation with someone. And I'm like, what is she?
The devil?
Maybe. When I tell you, like, I've heard people talk in their sleep. And it's usually
I've heard that too. You're not
like,
special.
no. But, okay, if you've heard that, usually it's just like less than a minute. Like, and sometimes you can't even make out the words that they're saying. I don't know. Have you, is it different for you when you've heard people talk in their sleep?
Do you not believe that I've heard people talk? Is this a test?
I just want to get a comparison.
Well, I mean, I heard someone quoting Abraham Lincoln's inaugural speech.
Like the whole thing?
No, of course not, because that just made that. No, people they talk about stuff, whatever they're dreaming about. I don't remember the dream specifically because it's dream logic. I've talked in my sleep.
So
I remember telling somebody to grab the pearls. I think I was in the middle of a bank heist or a jewelry heist or something. I don't know.
I remember cursing and my mom telling me that I was cussing in my sleep. Who was I talking to? I remember I was arguing with the neighbor. But it was so like if there was someone else in that room with her. And it freaked me out.
She was asleep?
I hope she was asleep, because if she wasn't, that's really going to trip me out. Because I looked in the other rooms and the kids were asleep. I've already had to hide the mop.
What was she doing with the mop?
She's not allowed to mop because she can't. I'm afraid her filling up the mop bucket, trying to carry it through the house. And I don't really know what she cleans with the mop and then reuses it. We'll just leave that at that.
I don't know what you're insinuating, and I don't think I want to know.
Okay.
So
we'll just carry
I'll just
on.
say that you don't want her to hurt herself.
There you go.
When she
That's what
mops.
I said. Yeah.
You don't want her to slip and fall or break a hip or something. So that's why you don't want her to mop.
Yes, please don't. Anyway, so let's move on. What's next on the agenda that we haven't got to?
You know, when you do it like that, it just sounds like we're not even trying. It should be organic. Watch this. Here, let me try this segue. All right, so your mother-in-law's visiting. What about your dad? You have any plans for Father's Day? Is he going to come visit, hang out with your mother-in-law? Are they going to talk to each other in their sleep?
Oh my gosh, I don't even
see what I
want
did
them in
there?
the same
No. You see what I did there? Can I get some
Yeah.
credit for that? Trying to transition
That was good.
organically instead of just saying, "Hey, what's next on the list?"
Well,
Because actually, what's next on the list is a disastrous graduation. But I think it's more organic to talk about.
that's true. I need to work on that transition. I'm going to write that down. That was actually something I learned when I was in banking.
You mean when you're trying to upsell people stuff they don't need,
Yeah, and years later, the banks
like retirement funds?
Yeah, and tell them that,
I'm just
their money's
kidding.
going
Of
to
course
be
you need
there.
retirement. Oh,
And then say it's not guaranteed though. Yeah, my dad, it's weird because I don't think I've really ever spent a Father's Day with him. I don't know.
well, if it makes you feel any better, I never spent a Father's Day with him either.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think maybe, I don't even know
With
if he
your dad.
realizes. Yeah. I don't think I have. But yeah, I'm not real sure what's going to happen this weekend because
I mean, he was in your life, but you kind of grew up without a father. I definitely grew up without a father. So, I didn't even know this weekend we're recording the day before Father's Day right now.
yeah.
I didn't know that this weekend was Father's Day until I just happened to look at my calendar last night and Google notified me that, hey, it's Father's Day weekend.
Father's Day weekend.
And I was like, oh, I wish that meant something to me.
Yeah, I like.
But I will take this moment. No, I will take this moment real fast to wish a happy Father's Day to my brother, who is a really good father, who grew up without a father and yet still overcame all that and became a great father. So it can be done.
I know. Yeah, actually, we were thinking about maybe having a little get together, not with my father, because
Of course not. Why would you?
I know, because it's more like to celebrate it with Luis and the dads that are in our families, Because, I mean, I don't know. I
Yes,
kind of
the
feel like
for Father's Day.
Yeah, I feel like I need to maybe go and visit my dad. And maybe I'll do that today. But I'm not sure. Isn't that weird?
I don't know. What do you think the biggest, what is it about your relationship with your father that you don't think you're going to spend Father's Day with him? I'm playing pop psychologist, by the way. I'm not qualified to do this, but it's a podcast, so anything goes.
Yeah. I'm not sure because
Do you think you hold any anger against your father?
no.
Or anything?
No. I just kind of let it go.
Any
But
resentment?
No. Mm-mm. Because I'm a very strong believer that I was going to say shit. But I'll just say shit happens for a reason.
I was going to say shit, so let me say shit.
Yeah. It happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And if I keep thinking of bad stuff, or he wasn't there and now he wants to be a part of my life and he needs to pay back this and he needs to, I would be a completely miserable person if I feel like if I had that mindset. And I don't remember a lot about my childhood for whatever reason, but I know that my mom and dad divorced, I want to say when I was like 10 or 11, maybe could be off a couple of years, but and before that he was there, it was
I remember
family.
when I was little, when I would go to y'all's house, your dad would make me laugh so much. We had such good times. And then I don't know what happened, but things changed a lot.
And then like he was gone throughout like maybe like our teenage years. Like we would see
Definitely.
him once in a while, just once in a while. And he had a really different, like he did not discipline at all. Like if, I don't know, I'm trying to remember if this actually happened or if this is just something in my mind that like I think I remember me smoking a cigarette and him seeing it and not really getting on to me, like telling me don't smoke. So things like that he wouldn't, like, I know if my mom had seen that, she'd be like, you better not be smoking, da, 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 da. She'd get on me. It's not good, it's ugly, it stinks, it's this, it's that. But I don't think he would say that. And I see his discipline now with his kids that he has, which are my half sisters.
Your half sisters, yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't know how to discipline them at all. And they walk all over him.
And as a parent, you really, I mean, not physical discipline like we got, but I mean, you do have to be able to discipline your child just to teach them right from wrong and hold them accountable for their actions.
Yeah, and they walk all over him, and I know in some cases, I've heard, or to some it might sound like, oh well, paybacks are hell. He did this or he did that. I don't really believe that. I think he really just does not know how to. He might physically, discipline them, like spank them or whatever, but I think it has to get to a certain level for him to do that. Because I remember he used to spank me a lot.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But I wasn't like, I don't consider it me being beat down, and I don't remember it like that.
Yeah. Hey, cuz
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we got to put a pin in this for a second. I got to go move my car.
Oh, okay. I'll just wait here.
Thank you. Cousin, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that interruption. But we're back. Remember when we used to make each other laugh on this show? Instead of always talking about the painful things from our childhood?
Yeah. I don't consider it painful. Do you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes, but I don't know. It doesn't really bother me to talk about it.
That's good.
I don't consider it painful. I mean, but my perception of my childhood isn't as bad as others.
I don't think I had a bad childhood. See, look, we're going down that dark road again.
Let's come back. Let's get to the light.
On the dark road again. I can't wait to
let me
get
turn
on
my
that dark road.
laptop to the light. Yeah, so Father's Day, I'm not real sure. Don't know what the plans are. And the weather's supposed to be really bad, so what are your
telling
plans?
me the weather outside is frightful?
Yes.
Is this a Christmas during the summer episode? Because that's 2 Christmas references already.
I think so. We're
halfway to Christmas. Have you gotten me a present yet?
Because I'm so broke. Oh, did I tell
What?
you about the disastrous graduation?
Oh, no. Let's hear it. What happened?
Because you
First
said,
of all,
am I buying you something?
Your daughter graduated high school.
Yes.
And our cousin graduated high school
Yes.
at the same time.
Augustine. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I felt myself, because this is about me. I felt a little
always is.
emotional. You know, I was like, I'm going to cry. I don't know why. Because I don't know. And
Because you had a painful childhood and you just don't realize it.
maybe it's denial. It's funny because one of my friends, my close friends, went and sat with us for the graduation ceremony. And she was saying, oh, I remember when I was here and I walked, we didn't do all this. And I was like, well, I don't really remember because I wasn't part of it. And
that still breaks my heart because
yeah,
you missed out on so many, like, just chapters of childhood by doing that.
Yeah, and maybe that's why I felt a little emotional.
You think?
Maybe, yeah, because it's triggering something in me, and I'm trying not to make it about me. But and I did see, I've seen in Isabel and I see in Priscilla that they work really hard. I'm not saying they're like, I mean, both of them graduated. Priscilla graduated with honors and Isabel graduated with, I don't remember. It's the next one up from honors. Anyway.
Super honors?
Yeah. And so we're there, okay, and traffic is horrible. So Louise has to like drop us off, and we have to walk on a crosswalk all the way from the one side of the university to the way on the other side, and it's hot.
That's actually called
like,
a skywalk.
Skywalk? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, and I know that because the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, like Luke Skywalker.
So we're walking across the skywalk, and it's hot. All these other kids are trying to get there. So we get in, and there's 600 and it's more than 650 students.
Oh my goodness. And you have to sit there for each and every one of them?
Yes. So
I call bullshit on that. I'm out of there. After my kid's name is said.
Yeah, you're gone. Augustine's last name starts with a C. So he's okay. You can leave after that. But Priscilla's is a T. So yeah, she was like the third row to the last. So we had to sit through that whole thing.
That's how it was for me too.
Yeah. Once they call their names, so I told Luis, it's like, hey, well, you need to start heading out with your mom because there's so many people and I know how it gets. I don't want her to get stuck in the crowd. So he's like, okay, I'm going to head out. So he takes her down. And I'm sitting there with your beautiful little niece, Riri. And I noticed that it's starting to look dark outside. And I'm like, is that just the windows? Or maybe I just didn't pay attention. And then I think I hear thunder. And so they make it through the entire ceremony. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. We need to head out now so that we can be downstairs when the graduates walk outside. And we shout and greet them and blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay. So we go out. The wind is like, I mean, I just had to hold my dress down because I felt like the wind was going to just blow that sucker up. That would have been bad.
You would do one of those Marilyn Monroe things?
Yeah, I was going to stand. And so we make it down to where the graduates are supposed to come out. And my husband is like, it's not going to rain.
He's holding his skirt down too.
No, he's holding his cell phone. He has the radar stuff pulled. He's like, it's not going to rain. Look, it's not going to rain. And I'm like, it sure does feel like it's going to rain. And then all of a sudden, like these big drops, slow, but they're big drops that start coming down. Some of the graduates come out, but again, it's 600 and something students. So thank God my mother-in-law and my mom had already left, and Isabel had parked closer towards the front. And because all of a sudden it starts pouring down rain. none of the graduates, the ones
And you
that
turn to Luis and you say, "What's your phone say now?"
he's like, it's just gonna pass. It's gonna be real quick. Riri's holding her phone and she's like, it's gonna rain. It says it on his, and he's like, no, it's not.
Well, that's because she has an iPhone and it's correct.
As soon as it started raining a little harder, he runs to the truck to get in. And I'm like, wait, I gotta wait for Priscilla. She's coming out. And it just pours down. So I'm like, where's Priscilla? And Riri's with me. We're soaking wet. Like, there, I mean, okay, my hair is normally straight. Wait, let me put that down because that's dry.
Oh, your poor hair.
It was curly. We were soaking wet. I see Julie and them at a distance, so I run to them, and I'm still holding my purse over my head, even though I'm like soaking wet. Julie looks at me, and her eyes are black from her makeup.
And Julie is the mother of Augustine, who graduated.
Yes. Needless to say, we didn't get to see them come out. It was so bad. I mean, it was thundering. It was lightning. There was so much
How'd that affect the
rain.
graduation party? Because I know that you'd been planning for a while.
Oh, by the time we made it back to the place, well, we had a hall, but we canceled it. So
Okay.
it was outside.
So where'd you have it?
We had it outside at Andrea's house. Yeah.
In the rain.
Yeah. So we had
Nice.
this huge tent. So by the time we make it back to her house, after I had dried off, some of the parts of the tent, because we had like an extension to it, had caved in. So like there was water. Thank God that we did not decorate anything before the graduation because it would have been soaking wet. Every single table and chair underneath that tent was wet. By the end of the night, it was nice, and I think they enjoyed themselves. Priscilla and Augustine. It's a lot of work. I'm glad my son is who I have next, which is another 5 or 6 years.
You're not sure 5, maybe 6 years, depending on his grades.
Yeah, because if he stays on the track that he's on, then he can possibly graduate early. Because he'll
Don't
be
let
able.
him do that.
Well, that was the thing.
Don't let him do that.
If he doesn't graduate early, then the credits he earns, they'll go towards college credits because he'll already
When you
be
say
able
graduate
to
early,
a year early.
what do you mean graduate a year early?
Yeah, like he'll be able.
Like at the age of 17?
Yeah,
Nah, listen, because let him like emotionally and mentally mature.
Oh
before
yeah.
he.
I wouldn't even.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, no. I mean, he has that option if he stays on the track that he's on. But I'm not going to say, do it now. I don't want to have another party with someone. No, I'm joking.
No.
That was a joke.
All right. The English saying is many a truth is said in jest. What's that Spanish saying you said?
Jugando se dice la verdad.
And there it is.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody has their perspective and their style, and that's not my style.
You dug a hole. You're just going to dig it deeper. Let's just keep moving on.
It was fun.
Guilty. Look at that guilty face.
It was fun and costly and time consuming, but it was good.
And now it's over. Thank goodness.
Yes. Yeah, it's over. I'm still paying for it. No, I'm joking. I haven't been able to recoup sleep-wise. You know, like I haven't been able to gain any more. I've been going to bed really late since then, since this whole graduation stuff started. But we made it through it, so we're blessed.
Because you're too old for that. You need to get your rest.
I know. I have bags.
You need to get regular rest. Yeah, I was going to say you need regular rest, and you really need your beauty rest.
You see that?
Look at that face.
I know. But
Looks like you're going on a long voyage with all that luggage under your eyes.
Monday when I went into work the weekend after the graduation party, I was so tired. My eyes were swollen, and from looking at the sun, or from seeing the light a day, they started to water. And so when I got into work, I was so tired. I didn't really feel too good, but I think it's because I was so tired. They're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm just not feeling good today."
Oh, that's ridiculous. By the way, the graduation was the reason why we didn't have a podcast last week.
Yeah. So it was a good cause. My baby graduated.
We toyed with the idea of me doing a solo podcast, but I was too scared and lazy to do it. So.
And you had time to do it, but you chose not to.
I did. Because it's just not the same without you. Look, what if I did it and it was a huge success? And I'd be like, well, I don't need Lourdes.
You could do that. Yeah.
You would like that, wouldn't you?
No.
You would like me to be successful.
I
and
would.
Happy.
I do. Yes.
Yeah. You see how selfish you are? This is number 2 podcast. That has nothing to do with me, except from my point of view.
Well, I did have a sighting that night of graduation.
Oh, please tell me it was a Bigfoot sighting.
It wasn't a Bigfoot.
You were squatching at your daughter's graduation.
No.
Bigfoot's kid graduated with your daughter. Is she friends with Littlefoot? She is the Littlefoot. Oh, it all comes together now, full circle.
No. It was worse.
Oh. What'd you see?
I seen La Marta.
Oh. Oh, the worst of them all.
Yeah, she showed up pretty late.
What was she doing there?
Well, she did get the invite.
Did you have lasagna or something?
She was there.
Oh, wait. Okay. So hang on. I forgot about this. Okay. So she can't take a hint is what you're saying.
No.
You sent her invitation to a city that she doesn't live in. Somehow she still got word of it, probably from listening to this podcast when you had to fake invite her through this show. And she still, despite all those hints, showed up. The gall, the audacity.
Pretty much. I'm joking.
And for those who don't know, La Marta, she's a mythical creature in the same vein as Chupacabra, El Cucuy, La Marta. It's a bad omen. I told this story twice already, but I'll tell it again. My brother caught one years ago. He fed it and it never went away.
Yeah, I think she says you're just so mean.
So mean. She's not allowed on the show anymore. She ruins it.
I agree. No, I'm sure. No one else is allowed. They have to sign a confidentiality thing. And it has to be
We shouldn't
scripted.
bring her up anymore.
It was funny. It was just a funny sighting. Anyway.
Next time, snap a photo. We can sell it to the Inquirer or the Weekly World News or something.
What is the other one? Is it the Inquirer?
What?
Wasn't there another magazine? Like you'd go into the grocery
Inquirer,
store?
the Weekly World News, and I don't know, maybe News of the World.
I think so.
I don't know. The Inquirer was
You
a
see
big
some
one.
crazy crap on the cover of it, though.
I remember Bat Boy. He was bald. He had pointy ears, and his mouth was open wide, and he had like tiny little pointy teeth, but nothing that looked like it was real intimidating. He had huge eyes too. Bat Boy.
Bat Boy.
Just pictured him living in a cave, hanging upside down.
What
But
are
really,
these?
it was all fake.
You know those pointy parts of your teeth? Is there a name for them?
Yeah, there's a name for all your teeth, but those are called canines.
Canines.
As
Is it
in a
really?
canine, like a dog.
Is it
Yeah.
really canine teeth?
Yes. And the ones in between those are your incisors, and then the ones in the back are your molars. I'm sure there's individual names for each one, but I'm not a dentist, so I don't know. But yeah.
I was listening to someone because I was listening with empathy.
You're such an empathetic listener.
And she called them fang teeth.
Well, I mean,
I've
they
never
look like
heard of
fangs on
that.
some people.
Well, I know.
Well, because I mean, if you think of a vampire, most of them, when they have their fangs, it's those teeth. Whoops. It's those pointy teeth. I mean, longer, obviously, because they're vampires. But somebody who doesn't know what they're called. What?
They're not vampires. Maybe she was telling me her daughter was a vampire.
Well, I mean, vampires aren't the only ones with fangs. I think wolves have fangs.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Remember White Fang? Oh, I know what you're saying. You're saying this bitch is dumb.
No, I'm not. Oh my god.
She's teaching her kid to be dumb too, calling them fang teeth. No, if somebody didn't know the name of it and they were like, your fang teeth, I would know what they're talking about and I wouldn't think they were dumb. They just,
I didn't. I didn't know what they were. That's why I asked, because I've never heard of that. And I was like, well, maybe they are
when
called
somebody
fang
says
teeth.
your fang teeth, you don't think about the pointy teeth
I do.
that look kind of like, okay.
That wasn't my question, though.
This is a non-issue.
What's
What's your question?
My question is, what are those teeth called?
Oh,
Because
canines.
I'd never heard of them referred to
Canines.
as fang teeth. Okay.
Cousin, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, she's playing with her canines. Yeah, they're called canines.
Canines. Okay. I'm just going to tell her that the next time she talks about it. I'm going to correct her.
When she says, hey, I have another story about my fang teeth, you'd be like, look, you dumb bitch, they're called canines. I'm sorry I had to call you that because I don't think you're dumb, but you sound like a dumb bitch when you say that.
I wouldn't. That is not even where I was going with that.
Oh, you'd be like,
She's
what
a
dumb
sweetheart.
Smart ass.
I have such a country hick voice.
Oh, that's because you're a country hick, cuz. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, I got a lot of country in me too. Sometimes I told you that time I was looking for a job years ago at Blockbuster Video of all places, not even really in existence anymore. I walked in, I did 2 country things. I said y'all, which
Okay.
I will never let go of. If I can hang on to that word, that's my Texas word forever. But I said, are y'all hiring? Instead of saying, are you hiring? I said hiring.
Hired.
I don't even know what word that is, hiring.
Well, it's
Are y'all
like
hired?
it's like a washing machine and a toilet.
Oh.
We've talked about that
Yeah,
before.
we're talking about your mom, my mom, our previous generation of people who put an R in wash for some reason.
Wash, toilet.
And they take other letters out of words. Instead of toilet, it becomes toilet. Wash. Go wash the toilet. What? I said go wash the toilet. Okay, first of all, I don't know what you told me to do and what to do it to. All right, I'm going to say it one more time. Go wash the toilet. Okay. The hell is wash and a toilet? I need you to go get some washing powder
And wash the
and clean the
clothes.
toilet because it's full of shit. Okay. I guess, I think I know what you're talking about. And then I'll be like, hey, where's the White House located? Oh, it's in Washington, D.C. You should know that by now. Oh, yeah, Washington, D.C. Of course it is.
So when you get older and you're gone
we're
through
gonna
the
get so much
States-
trouble from our parents.
Oh my god.
They're from Oklahoma. That's the middle of the country. If any place should have like the most generic English, it should be the middle of the country, and yet they say Washington. Wash. Toilet instead of toilet.
Yeah, there's another one. I can't think of what word it is. I mean, there's several
man,
of
we
them.
need. We should. We should make a list.
Oh, we should.
But I remember one time, one of our parents had said something about Washington. No. They were talking about washing their clothes. And somebody else said, what word is that?
They got in trouble.
No, the person who said it didn't hear them say that. But I remember thinking to myself, that was really mean. How dare you? Like, I know they're not saying it right. But still, you know what they're saying. You don't have to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Like we are right now.
No, we're not. But it's not just us. I think it's the time or the area, because they moved to Texas at a very young age.
There's regional words, like we grew up saying pop for soda, or soda water, soda pop, Coke.
Yeah.
Like, but that's not the word that a lot of Texans use to describe that.
Yeah.
Because I remember being called out by one of my friends as a kid. They were like, "Why do you call it pop?" I'm like, "Well, what do you call it?" And they're like, "Soda." I'm like, okay, well, it's soda, but a lot of people call it Coke in the same area.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of Coke do you want? Oh, I'll take a Dr. Pepper. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I get 2 Cokes? Okay, what kind? Diet Coke and
Sprite.
a Big Red. Yeah, Sprite. Okay, 2 Cokes coming up. Here's your Sprite. Here's your Diet Coke.
What about
Can I get a Coke? Yeah, what flavor? Coke. Okay, here's your Coke.
What about
What about
Icebox? Icebox.
Oh yeah. The other thing,
what the
Icebox.
hell is an Icebox?
That's like an old. Well, that's what it used to be called way back in the Disney. You know,
It's not a refrigerator.
when there used to be. No. Here's why it was called an icebox. This was probably from our grandparents' childhood. There would be a guy. You might have seen these in old cartoons, but there would be a guy going around selling like huge blocks of ice, and they would put that in this box, that an old time refrigerator. It wasn't like actually like how our refrigerators are now, but you would put this huge block of ice in there, and it would keep the whole thing cold.
And it was
a
an ice box
for the ice, and the ice would keep everything cold. And that was the original version of a refrigerator. I wish I could speak more eloquently, but that's why it was called an ice box. So it's like an old word, but that's what Grandma and Grandpa used to call it, and that's what our parents called it.
So that's why we called it that. And other people didn't call it that.
Yeah.
I also remember talking to someone as an adult, I was working already, and I said, "Oh man, I forgot to pay my light bill." And they're like, "You have a light bill?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my light bill." And they're like, "Well, what about your other stuff? Like, what does it run off of?" I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like all the other electricity. Like, how do you pay for that?
Look, was this that same dumb bitch who called it fang teeth?
No, I don't even remember who it was, but I remember being called out for calling it a light bill, not an electricity bill.
Look, that's somebody being really an asshole.
No, but if you stop and think about it.
Hey, I stopped and thought about it. I think about it. I think about it a lot. I stopped and thought about it. When you say the lights are out, when you like, if there's a blackout and you say, "Oh man, the lights are out," we're like, "Oh, thank goodness the TV still works." No, you know the TV's out. You know your microwave's not going to come on when you say the lights are out.
Yeah.
That's a person. You know what? I would say to her, "You know what? I see the lights are on, but nobody's home."
Yeah.
That's what she is.
You forgot to pay your light bill.
Dummy.
Yeah, that's crazy. But, I mean, it's great having your own lingo.
Yeah, that only you and your family understand.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we were speaking Spanglish before Spanglish was a term.
I know. I seen this.
I remember you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go.
All right. I remember you yelling at the neighbor kids who y'all grew up next to. They were climbing the fence, and you were like, "Watch out for that pico on top of the fence." And I was like, "They don't know what a pico is." And you're like, "Well, what do you call it?" I was like, "I don't know. What do you call it? A spike, I guess."
That happens to me.
Because you had a chain link fence.
Yeah.
And you had the picos on top.
Yeah. So
they weren't bent down.
Yeah, that's funny. I used to think that fence was like super high, and now that I look at it, I'm like, it's so low.
Well, do you remember when you were a kid? Like, I remember when I was a kid in kindergarten, standing next to an 8th grader. They were like giants. I remember like craning my neck up and looking all the way up, and I felt like I was half their size. But if you look at an 8th grader and a kindergartner now, you see like maybe a foot and a half taller, but everybody just seemed like giants when I was a kid.
Yeah. I thought I was a giant. I didn't realize how short I was until...
How tall are you?
I'm 5'2" on a good day. If I don't have any...
Yes, on a good day. Give me a number, please.
5'1.5".
You thought that was tall? Because I didn't realize you were that short.
Because I'm like so short. Luis sometimes will make comments about how short I am. And then when I put heels on, I'm like, I feel like I'm almost taller than you. Like, it feels weird. It's like, I can't be with a guy that I'm taller than. Especially if I'm 5'1.5".
Are you serious?
Yeah, I can't.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I never...
But like,
yeah,
if you were a tall woman...
No, I don't think I could be with a short guy.
Oh, okay.
I did, like, I talked to a guy way back, before I was married, and he was like super short. Now look, I think back and I'm like, ooh, what was wrong with me?
Because we have short people listening to the show.
But I'm not dating them or marrying them.
I know, but you make them feel bad about their height. It's not like they went to height school and failed.
I'm short. We're fun size.
Yeah. What if a guy was like, you know what? I only date tall women. If I had dated a woman shorter than me, ugh. What if they were like 5'1.5"? Brr, that's disgusting. Brr. How would that make you feel when you're like, oh, I'm 5'1.5"? I'm shorter than this guy. And here he is talking bad about people my height.
I never gave a specific number. I just said shorter than me. Because this is about me.
Yeah, but there's a 5-foot person out there listening.
I'm sorry.
Like, oh, I'm shorter than she is.
But I'm already taken, so I'm sorry. We need to.
No, I didn't know that about you. Listen. I'm 5'8" on a good day, when I'm standing straight and I'm not hunching over.
Yeah.
And I've been attracted to taller women. I don't know if they have any issues with dating men shorter than they are, but I never had an issue with women who were taller than I am.
Women, I think, I'm not speaking for all women, but we probably need to research this. I think women prefer men that are taller than them. You need to look for shorter women.
No, I'm sure. Look, I'm sure by and large, yes, that's the thing. But like, I'm attracted to who I'm attracted to, and sometimes they happen to be 5'10".
Don't do that.
And that doesn't bother me. Would it bother you if I brought a woman home who was taller than I am? Would you be like, that looks weird? And
no.
Would that?
I'm just saying me.
I don't believe you.
No, that wouldn't bother me to see. I've seen women that are taller than their man.
You just told me to find somebody shorter than I am.
I just said that.
To be mean.
It wouldn't bother me.
Just for that, I'm going to start looking for 6-footers. If you are a 6-foot female and you are attracted to short, fat, hairy men, give me a call. You can reach me at num2pod@gmail.com or on any of the social medias. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook @num2pod. That's NUMTWOPOD. Cause quit picking your fingernails. You know what?
I think the show's my
over.
Nail.
What finger are you sticking at me?
It's the middle finger, but I'm not sticking it.
How convenient. Yeah.
That one.
Oh my goodness, that's unnecessary.
Yeah. Were we talking about the
look,
middle
if you'd
finger?
like to support our... What? No, I'm wrapping up the show, cuz.
Sorry.
You've lost interest. You're looking at your fingernails. If you'd like to support this show, please go to campfirepod.com/merch. Oh, that's disgusting. Hold that up again. Hold it up again.
It's a little fella.
Yeah. Oh,
it broke.
She peeled her fingernail off. You can see the video at youtube.com/campfyre. That's CAMPFYRE. And as I was trying to say, oh, she's showing it again. Oh, that's disgusting. If you enjoy this disgusting display of broken fingernails and our talks of traumatic childhood events, or how our parents say wash instead of wash and toilet instead of toilet, please support this show. Go to campfirepod.com/merch. That's campfirepod.com/merch. You'll see we have some shirts up there. If you click on them, it'll take you to Amazon where the shirts are made and distributed. And anything you buy, we might make a small commission off it at no extra charge to you. And it's just a great way to support the show and get our names out there. Come on, Number 2 Podcast. Look at these awesome shirts. Man, I need to hire a real designer because these are ugly.
I think I got people looking at it though.
Nice.
Because I wear it.
They're like, how? They're like, look at that ugly shirt. I need to get one of those too. Like you have ugly Christmas sweater parties. Now you can have ugly podcast shirt parties. And you can start by buying one of ours. Again,
that's a great idea.
campfirepod.com/merch. Yeah. And I hope you have some lyrics, because
why would you do this to me?
It's time to say goodbye to the Number 2
I don't have any
podcast.
lyrics.
We're gonna... What?
I'm listening to you.
All right, if you don't have any lyrics, don't interrupt me during my flow, because I'm just going to come up with some stuff off the top of my head. We're gonna go wash our clothes and then clean the toilet, and we're gonna have fun while we do it. So go and wash your clothes and enjoy the toilet that you sit on after you clean it, and make it a nice shiny throne, and get your pop out of the ice box. It'll be nice and cold for you to drink it in. Come on, cuz what were those other funny things that our parents would say and then make us regret saying them in public? Oh, go pay your light bill. Because if you don't have your lights on, how are you going to download this podcast? And then you can share it with your friends and family. And you can say, hey, look, I thought we were messed up, but you see this family is way more messed up than we are now. We can be together and have a great graduation party in the rain and watch it flood our friends out. It doesn't matter, cause I'll be paying for years. How was that?
That was fantastic.
I don't know where I came up with those words.
I just had an idea.
Cuz always at the end of the show.
I know.
Goodbye.
Bye.